Again, I mean, this is not a question for me, it's a question for the government. So we made our recommendations because participation and inclusion of all political parties is something that prevents very polarized positions and potentially unrest. But I think the circumstances need to be looked at, and the decision of the government needs to be looked at in the context of the country, and I don't have anything more to say than that. It's very much a political decision, again, a decision of the government.
বিশ্বমানের থার্মিক্স রড সালাম স্টিল থার্মিক্স দেশের একমাত্র থার্মিক্স রড।
You have an additional question?
Just for clarification, Excellency, you are talking about the participatory election. What do you mean by participatory or inclusive election?
Inclusive election means that every segment of society should be able to vote. Women, people who are 18, ethnic minorities, different religious communities, that's what we mean by inclusive, that everybody has access and the ability to participate in the election.
So it's not about any political party?
No. Inclusion for the UN is very specifically about every Bangladeshi having a voice. You asked me what I would do if I feel quite Bangladeshi. You know, it's my 4th year here, but really, honestly, I think it's very much a conversation that needs to happen within the government, with the political party. I have to say I'm quite impressed by the Consensus Commission, the fact that all of the parties are coming together and there's a robust dialogue. And these are very complex questions, some of them, and what we're actually seeing is a lot of agreement on most of the recommendations. So from my perspective, I think that process is very robust, and the interim government is leading that process well. And again, I think working towards credible, peaceful elections is something that we will support, but the date, the sequencing, I don't have any further comment on. Right now, all of those recommendations are with the Consensus Committee and Commission rather, and they're part of a process where everybody needs to agree on what recommendations will be taken forward and what reforms are needed for the country. During this process, we're not part of that process. The UN isn't working on it, but when the recommendations were being developed, we shared good practices from other countries. We shared technical advice, for example, to the Election Commission. We brought in some experts on human rights to discuss with the Police Reform Commission. We gave good practices from other countries to the Anti-Corruption Commission. So each of the commissions had different questions and needed examples from other country or best practices. So we assisted them in that process, and then based on what decisions they made, they came up with their own recommendations. So right now we're not working on reforms, or recommendations. We will wait the final decision of the process between political parties and government, and when that process is finalized, if there's a request, we will obviously support the government on the implementation.